Hi, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to do a realistic looking mock-up for a laser engraved tumbler. These tumblers are made of stainless steel and they are coated with a durable powder coat coating, and it's kind of like a powdered plastic that they put in the surface of the mug, and then they run it through an oven to melt the plastic onto the surface of the mug, which leaves it with a colored durable coating. And when you laser engrave these mugs with a CO2 laser, what happens is the heat from the laser beam remelts the powder coat coating, and then you wipe it off, and it reveals the stainless steel surface underneath the powder coat. A good demonstration of this process is the Yeti logo itself, which this is exactly how they put this Yeti logo on here. Is in the factory they laser engrave the Yeti logo onto that before they ship it out. So how we would make a mock-up of engraving, adding our own logo onto one of these mugs, is we need a copy of our logo in black and white, and we need a copy of an image of the mug that we're going to engrave, and we need a copy of a plain stainless steel mug that's what the surface looks like after all of the powder coat is removed, the stainless steel underneath. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this black part to make a clipping mask for the stainless steel, and then we can superimpose the stainless steel version of this logo on top of the mug, and that will give us a pretty good realistic looking mock-up of the mug. It'll have the striations of the stainless steel. The only thing that it won't demonstrate very well is it won't demonstrate the slight curvature of the logo as it goes around the mug, but this is close enough for most purposes for a mock-up. Now, there is a quick and dirty way that you can do this. Is you can just select this entire logo and then color it gray. You can use the eyedropper tool to select one of the grays of the stainless steel, and if you have a very complex logo that you're engraving, or you have an extremely short amount of time, that is a fast way to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do both ways, but in either way, the first thing you got to do is resize the image that you're dealing with. So you'll notice when I click on these, I dragged and dropped these files, these image files, out of my file system onto the Adobe Illustrator file, and what that does is, you see those red X marks. That means that this picture is not embedded into this file. It is a link to an external file. I prefer not to have links to external files, because then when I save it on my computer and pull it up 2 years from now, the original file is now somewhere else, or it's lost, and then the program is complaining to me, I can't find the original image, so I'm just going to have to leave this blank. I don't like that. It makes my life harder. So I prefer to force it to embed a copy of the image into the file, and the easiest way to do that is actually to just crop the image. Cropping a linked file embeds a copy of the original. The original file is not affected. So now I'm going to crop that, and I also want to crop it for another reason, is that what I want to do is I want to crop this down so that the top and the bottom of this line up, because one of the tricks to making these mock-ups really easy to do is resizing the image to the actual size of the object, because then you don't have to calculate in your head proportionally, is this image smaller or larger. And then also, when you do things to your original image, you'll know that you can print it as is and it will come out the actual size on the object. So I recall from memory, the height of these Yeti mugs is approximately 9 inches. I found that works well enough for these mock-ups. So I make sure that the proportions are linked. That current proportion is 3.45 inches. I change it to 9. Now that is approximately the engraving size of the mug. So this one I also want to crop it, and there. And I also want to turn that one to make it 9 inches. So now you'll see that these are approximately the same size. And one thing that let's see, get rid of that background. One thing that I know from my experience with these files is that I like to have this about 3.25 inches high. The maximum engravable area that I prefer to deal with these is about 3.5 inches high. So if I do 3.25, it has a little bit of a margin on the top and the bottom. That's just kind of my personal preference for my personal artistic preference about engraving these. So I'm going to change the height of this logo to 2.5 inches. So now you see when I put that on there, it sit pretty close to that. So okay, so then the next thing I do is I make a backup copy of everything, so if I screw something up I can just erase it and grab my copy. Okay, so now I got backup copies of that stuff all over the place. Let's move it out of my way. Okay, so the quick and dirty way of taking one of these logos and making a mock-up is to just color it. So if I copy this and I paste it and I put it on top of here, arrange, bring the front. Okay, so now you'll see if I paste it right on top of there, it's all black. So what I can do is if I hit the eyedropper tool, that will allow me to select a color. So I can select, I usually try to select one that's like not the brightest and not the darkest one. It's kind of just off a little bit. And I select that, and everything that I've selected, the eyedropper tool will color that color that I picked. So now this is a quick and dirty way to get a real fast mock-up, or if you have a really complex image with a lot of different little black parts in it, sometimes that's the easiest way to do it. Okay, so that's one way to do it. So we will move that out of the way. And here is another way to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another copy of this and paste it on top of there. So now the image, the clipping method, what we're going to do is Control-Shift-G. We're going to ungroup all these little parts. So now we're selecting just one little part, and you hit Shift and select the background. And now here's where the magic happens. Make a clipping mask. There. Look at that. Now see how that turned that into with the gradients of the stainless steel? Basically, we just made a piece of that stainless steel mug that is in the same shape as that black part. Now, the trick though is there's a lot of those black parts in here, and it's only going to do one at a time. You really can't do more than one at a time, not to my knowledge anyway. So I'm going to copy this silver one, and just the simplest way that I have found to do this, and maybe somebody's got a simpler way to do it, but this is just what I've been doing that's been working for me. So I move it pretty close to the top. I move it to the back. I hit Command Shift and then left bracket. That will move it to the back. I'm going to try to zoom in here. And I'm going to hit Control V. Just move that approximately on top. Control V. Control V. V, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't matter if you have too many of these, because there's a lot of little black parts in this image. And it doesn't matter if they're completely lined up either. The striations in the stainless steel are uneven enough that it's okay if you have a bunch of them. So let's put a bunch of these on here. Okay, so now I'm going to click it and move it back. Click another one, move it back. Send it back, click, send it back, click, send it back. Maybe I can just select that whole darn pile of it and send it to back. Ah, that's much faster. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to select one of those and select the top one, make clipping mask, select another one, select the top, make clipping mask. Select another one, select the top, make clipping mask. Make clipping mask. Make clipping mask. Select, make clipping mask. And notice how I am moving my cursor farther away, because you see when I move it over here, see that little gray thing? That shows you that I'm actually about to select a different part of that same, like a different one of those stainless steel clipping mask objects, and I don't want to make a clipping mask out of a clipping mask. It won't solve my problem. So, okay, so make clipping mask. Okay, shift, make clipping mask. Make clipping mask. Make clipping mask. And we have to do all of these letters individually. One advantage of, I know I talked in another one of my videos, oops, see, we clicked that, about just identifying the font for something and then taking that font and redrawing the object. An advantage of doing that is if you take the actual font and you can actually do a clipping mask with the whole font at once. 3, 4, 5. That might be enough. Okay. Let's select, make clipping mask. Make clipping mask. Oops. Clipping mask. Okay, so now you'll see that like all of that is stainless steel. So I'm gonna select all of those, and then I'm going to shift select that and try to remove it. And now look at that. Now we have a stainless steel version of this logo. So we can take that stainless steel version and we can put it on a copy of it on our black mug. So I can copy and paste that onto our black mug. So you see how that looks good? And here's the other trick. You can actually now instantly make another one. So let's see. So crop this down to the height. Change it to 9 inches. Paste. Put it on top. And now we have, there you go, 2 stainless steel mock-ups.